What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, SJ Life and Science, for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we got an update regarding Frazer Clarke. Fraser cracked. Yeah, let's call it a spade here, man. Clark, yeah, come on now. Frazer Clarke. Okay, anyway. He's came out now. He made his first words, broken his silence. So let's get to the bars from Frazer Clarke.
And he was speaking for the first time, really, since he got blasted out in Riyadh on Saturday night. So the obvious question was, Fraser, how are you?
I'm well, Jim. It's been a difficult few days, to say the least. Of all eventualities, I never thought that would happen to me. You never do as a fighter. But I'm healthy. I'm back with my family. And that's the main thing, Massive thank you to everyone involved over in Saudi Arabia that looked after me, because they was unbelievable. My partner, she was unbelievable. I'm grateful at this moment. I'm very grateful because, at the time it looked very bad for me, but I'm very grateful.
Is it true you had surgery straight after the fight?
Straight away, at the time, obviously being the fighter I am, I thought it was fine, and you take it to the hospital, and there was a surgeon rang, and he got out of bed, and then forced to come down to the hospital, and they got me in as quick as they could, and they really did look after me. It was unbelievable.
Fabio Wardley has spoken extremely highly of you. Obviously, you wish him well, but it was far from the outcome that you would have wanted.
No, I vaguely remember saying congratulations to Fabio in the ring on the night. I couldn't. Everything was a bit of a blur, but I vaguely remember saying well done to him, and I told anyone that I thought would see him, including Frank Warren at the airport, to please pass my best wishes and congratulations to Fabio Wardley, because at the end of the day, he did his job. We were so prepared for that fight, the best physically and mentally that I'd ever been going into that fight. I couldn't see nothing but a win for myself, but it was just the harsh reality that in this heavyweight boxing, in boxing in general, if you switch off for 1 second, that's what can happen, and I've had to learn it the hard way. I hold my hands up. My team did fantastic. Everyone did fantastic. It was a me mistake, and it cost me.
What actual injury did you sustain, Fraser? 2
fractures to the cheekbone, Jim.
And how long is the recovery?
The recovery is going to be about between 8 and 12 weeks. They've told me everything in surgery went exactly as they wanted to. It should heal stronger than it was before. Don't get me wrong, like I say, it was devastating at the time, and it's still, my pride is very dented now, but, make no mistake about it, the fighter in me knows that I'll be back. It's going to be a difficult road, but listen, I'll work hard like I always have, and aim for them highs again.
You say you'll be back. I mean, you're 33, Fraser, but you're in no doubt you want to get back to it.
Yeah, of course, 33, but I'm in the prime of my life. I felt primed on that night, just a great shot from Fabio, and a leaky defence and a switch off from myself, and that's what can happen. But I'm the fittest now and the most athletic now I've ever been in my whole career, so I'm not even looking for it to be over. If anything, it's just a blip in the road.
Fraser, a lot of people who listen to our show want me to pass their best wishes on to you, and I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay then, folks, you heard the bars there from Frazer Clarke. Listen, they say 8 to 12 weeks for his injury to heal. I'm skeptical of that, I really am. And even if the physical injuries heal, not only the psychological injuries, every fighter likes to believe, until they've been knocked spark out, I've got a chin. Even if Clark's been down before, but he gets back up, right? It's a whole nother ball game. That's what I was saying about AJ as well. AJ was broken. Mr. Blobby hit him on the side of his head, on his Humpty Dumpty. Took him 5 years to come and have a go again, and even then he's been knocked spark out now. So trust me, it can go two ways. You can feel like, okay, I've got nothing to save now. I've been knocked spark out. I can go there again. But in this new estrogenic age, it tends to lean the other way. When you've been knocked spark out, the psychological wounds are mountainous to overcome. Mountainous to overcome. And Frazer Clarke, he wasn't the most aggressive before, right? He was always a bit second guessing himself. He's in there going life and death with Dave Allen, a washed up Dave Allen, etc., etc. He's in there making a hash of it. So that headshot, dead, is only going to exacerbate that, in my opinion. Not to mention, if we forget about the psychological issue, which is hard to overcome in itself, especially in this day and age with all the people that are coming up. It's not like the old days. Back in the old days, it was who was knocking around. Who was British champion back in the old days? There was some dude, Sam Sexton, something like that. But then one's there. That's how it used back 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It used to be them kind of ones, or Hughie Fury knocking about. It's like everyone was picking up a British belt now. These days, though, it's a different ball game. It's a different kettle of fish. You got Moses Talma. I even think Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher's robust. And really, looking at his future, I think that's where he has to pitch himself now. I think Frazer Clarke needs to pitch himself. In fact, this is the fight to make. Frazer Clarke versus Joe Joyce. That's a fight to make there. Let's get Joe Joyce on. That's fair. That's fair, right? Frazer Clarke's been smoked. Joe Joyce has a much better pro career and arguably amateur career than Frazer Clarke. So Joyce versus Clarke, the battle of the amateur bums. Right? Let's have an amateur bum off. Who is the biggest bum from the amateurs, from the Team GB amateurs? Get him in there. That's probably the fight I'd make, actually. It's got enough profile that Frazer Clarke's not going to feel like he's going all the way back to British level. Equally, Joe Joyce is washed up, so it's one of them. Come on, put me on, Turkey man. You got all these dead matchmakers giving you Italma. I'd rather watch Clarke versus Joe Joyce than Italma versus whatever bum they got on there. Right? Or Johnny Fisher versus Dave. I don't know. Dave Allen's cucked me again. I'm half believing in Dave Allen, but I know I'm going to get cucked. I might put a $5 on at 10-1 on Dave Allen to have a go on Johnny Fisher. I like to bet against the hype jobs, if I'm honest, who ain't really experienced nothing yet. Anyway, the other point I wanted to make about Frazer Clarke. So we've talked about the physical injury. Physical injury is physical injury is physical injury. I heard someone on TalkSport making a narrative like, oh, well, the bone grows back stronger. I'm sceptical of that. I really am. Especially around the joints. Yeah? When a bone is made, when you have the same bone you've had from a baby, it's like all one structure. Once you've broken it, it's like putting it back with glue. It's always going to be the weak point there. That's always going to be the weak point. Listen, I'm not a scientist, so maybe I'm just talking logic here. But I can't believe that something that's been stuck back together, essentially, is going to be more solid than the original structure. That's a patch job. And in this game, when you get whacked on it again, I'm sorry, folks, I can't believe when something like that breaks, when you get whacked on it again, it's stronger than ever. Look at Kell Brook. Kell Brook got popped by Triple G and got popped by Errol Spence. It doesn't make no sense. It becomes a weak spot, I believe. Particularly in the next few years, if that makes sense. Now, if Frazer Clarke's able to go another 2-3 years without being hit on it, maybe it ends up as good as. I'll never believe you end up stronger from it. I'll never believe his eye now is stronger than it was before. I'll never believe that. Not in a month of Sundays will I believe that. But even if it is, good luck to him and congratulations for that. But the other part I want to talk about, we've talked about the physical, we've talked about the psychological. I want to now mention the neurological. A chin is not a chin is not a chin. Look at Joe Joyce. There's no way Derek Chisora would have put Joe Joyce down with that right hand before Zhang had to go on him twice. No way. No way Jose would he have gone down with that. So with Frazer Clarke, people always, oh, AB, you're a hater. Frazer Clarke was chinny in the Olympics. He's always had that chinny kind of look to him. He is chinny. That's the bottom line. It didn't take much for him to go over before this massive shot. He said himself, it felt like Tower 7 collapsed in his head. And I imagine it did. It's scary to watch. But that is, again, just the physical of it. Neurologically, one thing, doctors can sit there and say, oh, the bone will grow back stronger and it will take 12 weeks. Medical science hasn't got to the state yet. They can't even, apparently, they can't even diagnose CTE until you're dead. They only know someone's got CTE when you're dead and they take your brain out and they can look at it properly. Oops. So the physical side of medicine is pretty strong. But the psychological / neurological side, they haven't got a clue what they're doing. They have not got a clue at all with how the brain works and what's going on in there. And I'm telling you now, my specialty is neurology. Yeah? Neurology from Heavy impacts is what I did, mate. I tried to think of a better. From catastrophic impacts. That's what my thesis was on. My thesis was the impact of catastrophic damage to someone's bonds. Yeah? Their brain. People, I didn't spend 6 years doing my thesis for nothing. I know, I'm telling you now. Them wires that was in his brain, them virgin wires, bash! Whoop! They all been spun up. Fabio Wardley spun his block up. So as chinny as he was, I don't care what no one said, he was chinny. I'm not a hater. If he had a cast iron chin, I'd say that. He didn't. No one can sit there and tell me, from what they saw of Frazer Clarke, they were confident he had a cast iron chin. No. He was always on a suspect list. And now after this, I'm telling you, he got his block spun up. So as vulnerable as they were before, do not be surprised now. He goes in there with someone, pick anyone you want. Joe Joyce or whatever. And if I was fighting Frazer Clarke, I'd just target, left side of his face. We're coming in with the right hook, we're coming in with the right hand. Bash! So when he gets clocked there, he's going to set off something in his head and he'll be bugging. He'll be even chinnier, is the point I'm making. So, Frazer Clarke wants to come back. Johnny Nelson said he should retire. It's difficult though, what do you do? This guy probably made $1 million for that fight at the weekend. So my advice actually would be, you ain't going to make $1 million nowhere else ever again. Right? You might want to go in there, but take smart fights. I think Joe Joyce is a smart fight. Frazer Clarke is quick. They're both chinny. They're both long in the tooth. They're both probably shot now. That's a safe fight. Joe Joyce is slow, so you're going to see it coming. He might be heavy-handed, but you've got a chance. Frazer Clarke has a chance in Joe Joyce's fight. I don't even know how I'd back that fight. That's a 50-50 fight. That's the kind of fight he needs to get back into it. I wouldn't even go with a Romford Bull now, but that's another fight. I think Romford Bull was too young and too fresh for Frazer Clarke. But that's another potential opportunity. I wouldn't go nowhere near Moses Talma from what I've heard. I haven't seen him like yet. I need to see him fight someone, but from what I've heard, that's a no. The Romford Bull and Joe Joyce. That's where Frazer Clarke, he can't go nowhere near Jared Anderson, who's come off a loss. He can't go nowhere near him. He might have lost to Bacoli, but he can still whack. You need someone slow like Joe Joyce, or completely brand new like Romford Bull. To be honest, I'm going to call a spade. If the odds were 50-50 for Frazer Clarke and the Romford Bull, I'd back the Romford Bull. I really would. I really would back him. I think he's too young and too fresh, and his hands are probably too quick, and I'm sceptical of Frazer Clarke's chin. I really am. You can say Fabio Wardley is really powerful. He is. But the way Frazer Clarke go down, I think he's going to get clopped again. And he won't take much, I don't think. I don't believe he's going to take a massive shot and Frazer Clarke's going to be on his backside again. That's my base case. I hope I'm wrong, though. I wish him all the best, because he's a... he seems like a solid dude. He seems like a nice dude, but I can't change the facts for you, man. He might be a nice dude. That don't mean he's not neurologically compromised. I'm putting that stamp on it now. Do not be shocked. Someone hits him with a jab, he'll be on skates again. Because them wires have been undisrupted, essentially. Do you know how hard it is to lose consciousness, people? Yeah? That is a gap in space-time. You understand? That's what ends up happening. And when you start making gaps in data, it's a problem. You get hard resetted back to the nearest one. But for all of us, man, who have always been conscious, we've just got one time stream, one timeline. So it's hard to undo. When you've never been knocked spark out before, there's a whole bunch of data there and a whole bunch of feelings there that keep you pinned in reality. When you've had your lights turned off a month ago, it's easy to go back there. It knows what to do then. Oop, I know what to do now. I've felt this before. Turn off. See that one there? It's like a body. It's a way your brain, your body protects itself. Before, when you're virgin, all your body wants to do is keep conscious and keep fighting. But when it's been turned off, relatively recently for the first time, at the first sign of trouble now, it goes back into protection mode. Okay, shut all vital things down. Bash, you're unconscious. That's what it does. Yeah? Into bare minimum operating mode. Safe mode it puts you in. So you lose all conscious functions. And that's why them fighters that get knocked out, they're like... Because your body goes into simple mode. It's literally survival mode. The bare bones of survival. Breathing and your heart's pumping. No brain activity. Yeah? There's no decision-making cortex. You just one of them. So that's where he's fixing to go back to, I believe. For the first thing anything he sees to the side of his head, to the left side of his head, sorry, is going off. Hard reset. Safe mode. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell. Should he continue? Me being biased? Probably. I want to see it. I want to see the car crash as such, of Joe Joyce versus... No, but that's not a car crash, I'm being unfair. That's entertaining though, that would be. If he's going to be around anyway. I don't want to see him in there with no more bums though. Yeah, I don't want no more gimme fights. You've had the gimme fights now. It is what it is now. You're in there with Mr. White Collar now. There's no way to go back. You can't go from Olympic medalist to white collar and get knocked out and then I need to build again. No, you've done the building now. Get in there with Joe Joyce. That's what you need to do. And you might, again, it's 50-50 for me. I can see Frazer Clarke punching Joe Joyce up. I can also see Joe Joyce's, one of his hooks is slapping, one of his left hooks slapping on the side of his head and Clarke spark out. So it's 50-50, but that's what needs to happen now. It's a big enough fight. That would sell out the O2, maybe. I'd like to think, probably. It would sell out 10,000. Even at this point when they're both washed up. So that's the play here. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about it. People stop it.